Por todos son 206 terrenos. ¿Ok? Había un líder de todo.
So, this man right here, he's been a part of this community for a couple years now, and he's been living here for a while, and he saw the change of how this community was full of prostitution. There was drug selling here. This garden has helped the community change. They've cleaned it up. Not only have they cleaned it up, but they've taken all those bad aspects of the community out of there, and what the city does is they're implementing taxes that unfortunately they won't be able to pay for. So he's gonna tell.
So the ones who are just growing for their families are not going to be able to afford the increase because it requires us to increase the rate from $20 a month to $80 a month. And many of these people are undocumented first-generation immigrants and only Spanish speaking, and they don't have access to the regular workforce. And so not being able to grow their own fresh fruit and vegetables means that their families are likely to go hungry.
The whole community got together and they started to work and they started to clean this area. And not only did they have to do that, but they had to get money out of their own pockets. The city didn't help them at all, so they had to pay for basically reconstructing this land.
LADWP is not supportive of food production. There is the spoken support, but we need that to be backed up with financial support, and that has been the challenge.
The need for higher rates goes to the true cost of water. Infrastructure was constructed. It was constructed using grant money or low interest loan money paid for by federal and state programs. Well, that was all built years ago, and you fast forward to today, that all needs to be replaced, but that money isn't there anymore. Now the local people are having to pick up at least some of the cost for that infrastructure.
When we look at water efficiency, we have to look in a full cycle analysis. A lot of the water for Southern California comes from hundreds of miles away. And then, of course, food comes from 100 miles away. If we have water that's here and then we're using to grow food here, in essence, we're cutting down the food chain a little bit. We're cutting down the long lines of supply to sustain ourselves here.
Most of our gardeners are lower income gardeners. Some of them in fact are homeless, and that is really their only access to food. And for them to have access to fresh food like that is really valuable.
The spiritual nature of reconnecting to the land and connecting with people who are working with the land in an area where most of us are separate from the land. Even where there's park space, it's artificial fake turf in many of the areas. And it's large, open green spaces, urban farms where we're connecting with our roots.
No hay plan, no hay
ninguna donación.
No hay,
para nosotros no hay ningún plan.
There's no plan, there's no donations, they're by themselves, they have no help. So unfortunately, they can't pay for it. I mean, it's too expensive. So
Mira, hay algo especial que se me vino me llenan las lágrimas. Quitaron parte de mi vida. Me están quitando parte de lo que yo me gusta hacer. Ser parte, que se haga escuchar de la voz, que no ha sido escuchada nunca.